All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. Going to be touching on the week one core plays here on DraftKings. Let's go on and get into it. And so the reason why I'm coming out with this video so much later than I typically would throughout the week is because I felt like we just didn't have that clarity that we would need to be able to say, all right, these players are clearly mispriced or these players are in an ideal spot that we need to be targeting. I do feel like we have that now, so that's why I'm coming out with this video now. We got to start out with the Cincinnati Bengals. So obviously the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be a spot that we want to be targeting because it's looking like T. Higgins is going to sit. He's currently listed as doubtful. We'll see what that means for him next week. They could just be being precautious with him. Maybe it's a contract thing somewhat with him. He's a little bit annoyed that he had the franchise tag, but he's looking like he's doubtful. Jamar Chase is currently questionable. He has to get back up into game shape. That's part of it. But also he was cited for having an illness as well. And so regardless of if he plays or not, I think we can expect him to be limited. All reports are saying that he will be limited in this game as well. And so how many snaps does that mean if he does play? Like 50% of the snaps, maybe. Now that could be enough for him to do damage, but that does mean that we are going to be looking at Andre Yoshivas to probably be the receiver number one for the Cincinnati Bengals in week one. And he is someone that I've been wanting to target in best ball drafts and have targeted in best ball drafts. He is someone that, if you have been following preseason NFL DFS, he has just been getting a ton of hype out of camp. It's almost been clear that he was at least going to be the receiver number three, at least be someone we want to invest in some capacity. And now he's going to be thrust into really the top pass catcher for the Cincinnati Bengals. And we get him at 3K, which is pretty awesome. Now, maybe, just maybe, we see Trenton Irwin actually get a little bit more work. He will be the slot receiver when Jamar Chase is not in the game. And they might even coexist together a decent amount as well. And then maybe Jermaine Byrne gets a little bit more work on the outside. Kendrick Pryor was called up to get some work on the outside as well. But we're going to be looking at Andre Yoshivas in this game. Just 3K, just an easy play. Now, there is another value play that I think we need to be looking at, and that's going to be with the Carolina Panthers at the tight end position. So they're going to be missing their top two tight ends in Tommy Tremble and also Ian Thomas. We did receive word that Sanders is going to be the starter, then the rookie. Very interesting that he's starting because Jordan Matthews was the one that had the good game in the preseason with the starters for the Carolina Panthers, scoring a touchdown in that game. And I think we could see Jordan Matthews actually play a little bit in this game as well. Maybe he scores another touchdown, kind of a fun narrative there for him. The safe in quotations would be Sanders. If you look at some of his prop lines, he's at like 2.5 receptions as well. So if we can at least get 2.5 receptions out of him, that should mean that he's gonna about 2x theoretically. And really, regardless, on a slate where we're not really getting any missed prices at all, I don't mind punting at tight end. And so he is someone that I do think we can punt with. I still don't mind the idea of playing Johnny Munn, the Minnesota Vikings tight end, as a play. I wouldn't say he's a core play, but he's another really good option that you can get to. He is going to be a good value play. And then getting into the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. So we need to get confirmation on Russell Wilson. Is he going to play or not? He's still kind of trying to play. Obviously, he's a gamer. He wants to play. Most NFL players, I think, do. But it's looking like he's going to sit. And if he says Justin Fields at 5K is not only going to be one of the best plays on the slate, he's going to be one of the highest owned plays on the slate, I would assume. And that's going to be because of his price tag, but also because of his rushing ability. He will present a nice floor, and at this price tag, it'll just be very easy for him to hit value at that price tag. Maybe not the best matchup going against Atlanta, especially for him being more of a running quarterback. At the same time, we'll take that price discount there. And then from there, if he is going to be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the rest of the slate becomes pretty easy because Tyreek Hill is going to be in one of the highest scoring games on the slate, and he's going to be someone we're going to be wanting to target in this game. Now, he was citing a little bit of a hand injury a couple weeks ago. That seemed to be just due to precaution. He should be good to go in this game. And so if we can attack one of the highest scoring games on the slate with one of the best players in the NFL, who was arguably a little bit too cheap considering how he was priced last year, this is just a smash spot. I love the fact that playing those values is going to allow us to get to him. And then Justin Jefferson as well. A lot of people are going to be nervous about Sam Darnold, which maybe is warranted. We'll see if it is or not. But this matchup against the New York Giants should be a pretty good one, or a good enough one. And we saw Justin Jefferson command a bunch of targets last year, even with poor quarterbacks, even without Kirk Cousins as his quarterback. And so this is another situation where maybe with Sam Darnold at QB, this is the typical price that we get out of him, but I'm happy to pay up, especially because we can pay up. And then looking at the running back position, it's very easy to pay up for Jonathan Taylor on this slate as well. That is something I'm going to be happy to do as well. Jonathan Taylor against Houston, guys, last year went off against them, scoring 30.6 DraftKings points, rushing for over 100 yards, almost 200 yards in that game. And that's typical. He typically dominates the Houston Texans. Maybe a little bit worried about Anthony Richardson stealing a little bit of production from him on the ground, but at the same time, great price tag. Great matchup, and we can get him at a decent price tag. I'm happy to get there, especially again with those values that we have available on the slate. So from there, I wouldn't say this guy is a core play, but I mentioned we really just don't have value on the slate. The one player that I've been getting to a ton just due to his price tag is going to be Rico Dowdle, where if you guys look at it, all the news that's been coming out of camp, and basically Mark McCarthy saying he's a 3-down back for us. We don't want him to play on special teams because we value him as an asset. I've been saying for some time, I think this is going to be like 2 years ago with the Dallas Cowboys, where Rico is going to play more of the Tony Pollard role, and Zeke and now Dalvin Cook are going to play more of the Zeke role from 2 years ago. And if that happens, Rico at this price tag is certainly too cheap. Now, it is a very difficult matchup. Don't get me wrong there. That's the big concern. But if you look at the Cleveland Browns, the one way you attack them, they're one weakness, if you will, is via the running back. So Rico at that price tag is like the cheapest I could get to. And then from there, it's actually pretty easy. Lineup path wise, we're going to go with the lowest price defense that won't go negative. And then from there, 7-6 left over. We could go Devontae Adams if we want to do that. I wish we could get to Bijan, but we can't, just a little bit off. In terms of this lineup, if we wanted to switch it up, I mean, we could get to Bijan Robinson. I'm perfectly fine to get there instead of Rico. Maybe we could pay up at defense a little bit. Jalen Polk's a decent value play. Maybe you guys want to go Trenton Irwin if Jamar Chase is out. Like, we have options there as well. But that's going to be all for the core plays video. I'm glad we got some clarity on the slate. Should make it a little bit easier here, guys. Make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. If you guys want access to the 9-to-5 lineup builder, head on over to 9to5sports.com. Get access to that for just $10 a month. All right, thanks for watching. And as always, let's keep cashing.